everyone. Welcome. Hi, hi.
Hello, hello. We're expecting a good number of people today, and we're excited.
Yes,
As you can tell by my attire, we're celebrating.
yes. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. Hello,
Festive season
hello.
has begun. I see the familiars. I see some new people. Zoom set up a
Welcome.
little differently now, where you can see in the chat people as they're joining, which is a little distracting. So I'll keep my eyes on your beautiful faces.
Hello, hello. Good to see you all. Welcome. Welcome to the Zoom and Knit. Hello, everybody.
Oh wow, I see someone in their car.
Oh, wow. Hello. We like to give it a little bit for people to get settled and join, so give it a minute or so. If you're just joining right now, hello, good to see you. Thanks for coming to the Zoom and Knit.
I feel like December 1st is when it really hits the
Yes.
holiday season, the season of knits.
Yep, it is time to gift knit.
Mm-hmm. I always wish I started sooner than that. And sometimes I do, but not seriously.
Yep. Yes. Oh, I see some people saying hi in the chat where they're coming in from. Feel free to say
Yes,
hi.
we love to know. Just where everyone's coming in. Eventually, we're going to ask, how many you knit? How many you still plan to knit? Did you finish? Did you not?
Right. Hello, hello.
Minnesota, Illinois, Kansas, South Carolina.
Aw, welcome everybody. Hello.
Sunny and hot. So Southern California. So California.
Hello. Welcome, welcome.
Yes. We have Philadelphia, Indiana, Cape Cod. Very nice.
Nice.
There. Seattle, North Jersey, man.
Wow. Welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, and including the people where it's a little more warm. Like I'm in California myself too, but it's it's getting cold in the mornings and the nights, so I can wear these on my little evening walks with my little pup.
Hello, hello. All right, we'll give it just a little bit more for everyone to get settled.
British Columbia, we have first snow today.
Oh, just in time. These are great hats to wear in the snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's really good at kind of protecting against, moisture, which is, it's a good insulation. It's basically
Yeah.
hair.
All right. Well, I think people will still be filtering in, but I think we can go ahead and get started. So I'm going to add a spotlight to everybody here and we can go ahead and get started. Give me just a second. Moderators, if you can add a spotlight to yourself. There we go. I think that's everybody. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. Officially, welcome to the Finished Object Party Zoom and Knit for the Classic Ribbed Hat Knit Along. I am Margaret. I'm the social media and outreach coordinator at Purl Soho. And today I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Jaja, from our customer service team. And then helping out in the chat as moderators, we have Allie from our e-commerce team, Kat from our customer service team, and Gianna from our design team. They'll be helping out if you have any questions throughout the Zoom and Knit. Feel free to put them in the chat and they'll be able to reply to you and get you the answer you need there. So yeah, thanks for being here, everybody.
Yeah, we've seen so many really pretty combinations of hats. I was so inspired by the ones I was seeing on Instagram and then really long inbox. I just want to show some of mine real quick. I have these.
Yes. Jaja made some adorable hats.
Oh yeah, I felt like I really enjoyed the stripes the most because they went a lot quicker. I didn't feel like I was on 8-inch sleeve island for forever.
Yes.
It was just 8 and go, 8 and change, 8 and change. So
Yeah, no,
I'm curious, how many did you make, Margaret?
I made 2.5. One
Okay,
is still on the
that's good.
needles. What about you? What was
Very
your
nice.
what did your total end up being, Jaja?
For now, we have 5, but I'm planning on a couple more for the little one.
The little baby hats are so irresistible. I can't not make them. And they're
Mm-hmm.
great for using up scraps from the adult hats. It's just so fun.
Yeah, I like to make them. I have a lot of friends that have kids, so it's fun to do kind of the mom and dad and then stripes for the baby of whatever color I
Yeah.
chose.
It's adorable. There's so many fun options, but we have really enjoyed seeing everybody's hats and knitting along with you. And so this Zoom and Knit is going to be wrapping up the knit along. We're going to announce the grand prize giveaway winners. We do giveaways throughout the course of our knit along, so we'll be announcing those winners. We're going to talk about weaving in the ends, which is a nice step to do at the very end of your hat. If you haven't gotten to it, we'll show some techniques for that. We're going to talk a little bit about blocking. Maybe your hat turned out a little bit more pointy than you would like. We can give you some tips on that. And then we are also going to have a really fun demonstration on how to add a pom-pom to your hat using our pom-pom holders or pom-pom makers. And which is just a fun little thing to do if you have some scrappy arms. So we'll show how to do that. And then we also are going to have a Q&A session as well for any lingering questions. And then we'll do a show and tell so we can see your gorgeous hat. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great Zoom and Knit. I also want to briefly apologize. I am feeling under the weather, but being surrounded by cozy knits and great company makes it all worth it. So I apologize, but I'm happy I'm here.
We'll make sure you don't have to talk too much during this one. So
You're so sweet.
I'll take the lead. Speaking of taking the lead, if anybody has any questions, I just like to let you know that it's best to put them in the chat to everyone. Sometimes people will DM directly to myself or Margaret, and we're not able to see it all the time right away. We keep an eye on it, but that's what we have the moderators for. So they will answer things as they get to them. And at the end, we like to collect just kind of a Q&A sheet and just go through anything we might have missed. So please keep an eye out for that. Make sure you message the right person because we don't want to miss any questions.
Yeah. And we're also recording the Zoom in it for anybody who couldn't attend live. And we'll post it on our YouTube channel afterwards. But if you don't wish to be recorded for any reason, you can mute yourself and turn off your camera. Completely understand. So yeah, but I think that's I think we're ready to get going. Oh, I see a question.
Oh,
What color hat do you have on?
This is Hydrangea Blossom.
Beautiful.
It's really nice blue and purple, I think. It
It
really
looks
looked
great
like
on you.
Hydrangea in person. It's one of my favorites.
It's so pretty on you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to start off with talking about how to weave in ends. So I'm going to switch around the cameras here so we can do a quick demonstration for that. So let me remove some spotlights.
I'll remove mine for me or for you. Don't worry about that.
Thank you. Technical shuffling. There we go. All right. Now, oh, let's switch over to the document camera. All right. And there we go. Okay. Wonderful. So when it comes time to weave in your ends, if you have stripes, the thick stripes might have more ends to weave in than others, but the main thing you want to consider when you're starting to weave in ends is how is this hat going to be worn? I have a baby hat here, and I'm thinking that this hat is going to be folded and when the baby is wearing it, which means that we can weave in our ends on the right side of the hat. So when it's folded over, it's essentially on the wrong side of the hat and hidden. And so I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. We do have a tutorial, or moderator just put a link in the chat for that if you're interested. I'm going to demonstrate 2 different ways to do it, but I encourage you to choose whatever way works best for you. These are just 2 good options for how to weave in your ends. So yeah, I'm going to work with the tail from the cast on edge here first, this green thread, and I've threaded it on my needle. And the first thing I'm going to do is this is on the right side here, and I'm going to go over to the left side, kind of where my cast on stitches started and ended. So I'm going to go over here and identify this column of stitches. And let me see if I can get it autofocus, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to do a little snake pattern. We're going to go through behind this stitch and then back this way behind this stitch, through this way around, and just kind of snake through just like this. So the first thing to do is find this top stitch, which is a little bit hard to do, but it's there. We're going underneath both legs of that. I guess it's an A in this shape, but sometimes it looks like a V. We're going to go right through there, thread our needle and pull that through. And I'll deal with that white tail in just a second. I'll show you how to do another technique. But for now, we're just going to do the green one. I'm going to pull that through, and then we're going to find the next stitch below that. So this is the one we just went behind. We're going to go right through this one right here and just go right on back. And then we'll just continue this all the way down, and this will hide the tail all the way through the stripes. So this is just one way to do it. There's many good ways to weave in ends. This is just one nice way to do it. And there we go. And on the wrong side, it all looks the same. So that's one way to do it. And then whenever you're happy, I would probably do it maybe a couple more times. You can go ahead and trim the edge. In fact, let's just do that together here, shall we? This hat is a gift for one of my friends who's expecting. So this is going to be one less step I have to do. There we go. So I just cut it and it's all disguised in there. And then now we have this white tail that we can weave in. I am going to show you a different way to weave in ends. This equally good, just another way to do it. I'm going to thread this through to the other side of the fabric so that I can weave in ends on the right side, because remember, if this is being folded up, then it'll be a little bit more disguised that way. And then I'm going to be working in a different column of where I just wove in that other tail. It's right here. I'm going to work in this tail now. And I'm going to grab just the right side of this V. I don't know if you can see this V right here. I'm just going to grab the right leg of that stitch. And then I'm going to twirl around and grab the right leg of the next stitch right above it. And I'm just going to keep doing that. Just like so. And then you can thread it through just like that. And then it always helps to kind of distort your fabric a little bit, move it around, just get that, wiggle it around a little bit. And then what I'll do is you can go down the neighboring column and just go up and down, back and forth. So we can go down here, for example, and then up here, and then cut and trim it. But that's another way to do it. There's a lot of good ways to weave in ends. And then the other thing is up at the top here, you can follow the same techniques. You can weave in those ends on the inside of the hat. But yeah, it's really straightforward. It's a nice little meditative thing to do at the end of a project. And then it's nice to see them all concealed when your hat is folded over. So yeah, that's weaving in ends.
I see a question for my striped hat.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't do anything too different when I was weaving in the ends, but I do want to show you kind of how it came out. And I was happily surprised that it wasn't too noticeable. So you can kind of see here, this is where the end of the rounds were. And so it's a little off. But basically what I wound up doing was similar to Margaret, where I flipped it to whatever side, about where the cuff probably was going to be. So if it was here, all the ends I did on this side. And I tended to wrap around each kind of the stockinette looking V's to make it look a little more seamless. Sometimes I go through purl bumps, but there aren't many purl bumps in this. I mean, you can go like that, but that's kind of what I did. The main thing that I found helpful, one, was to set a timer for myself because there were so many. This had the same number. It took me about 40 minutes, in case you're curious, of just really sitting down. But I like to put a timer for 30 minutes and just kind of take a break if you haven't finished by then. But for this example, what I would do is I would make sure I push it into this side so you can't see it. And I always pull down in the direction the yarn was coming from to make sure I close up any gaps. I'll show you real quick kind of. So what I like to do is, I know Margaret has a really cool technique, which I like, but I like these threaders, which are really fun. You can find them usually in sewing kits. Because I don't, I'm really bad at doing that technique. And what you do is you put it through the needle first. Oh, these hats all appear bulkier than the original pattern. Nope, I used a size 3 on this.
Me too.
It's because of the cashmerino bloom we had mentioned in the first zoom in, that the bloom just really makes it grow over time. And so we use 3 just to make sure you can get it as tight as possible, the gauge, and then over time it just kind of gradually starts opening up. Like this one's for my husband and it's been worn several times and it's already kind of bigger than when it first started. So I feel like at a certain point it stops growing. Do any of the pros weave in the starting tail so there is not an uneven joining? Sorry, I'm looking ahead at questions. Let me see. Do any of the pros weave in the starting tail so that there is not an uneven joining of the first round? That's a good question. Do not consider myself a pro weave inner. So I can ask, do you have any tips for that, Margaret, after I show this real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I would just suggest you're kind of trying to mimic another stitch right there. Let me add a spotlight really quick.
Yeah.
This disconnect here between the slip stitch, a slip knot beginning, and then the end of your cast on stitches, you're just trying to mimic a stitch right there. So before I went up and down these stitches here, I could have come in here and went through and made a little loop. Take the yarn from here, loop it through here, and then come back this way, and then bring it to the front of the fabric and weaving in down this way, just to kind of essentially make another loop along the way. But you don't have to do that for this hat. It's really nice to have such a stretchy brim, especially if you're folding it over.
Mine kind of open like this, and it makes it just a little stretchier. Once it's on, you really can't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back to this then, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is I put my threader through the hole of the needle. I grab my yarn, put it through the diamond shape. And you can use that to just easily pull it through.
Very nice.
I like to do that so I don't have to fight with it. This is for so many. So in this, I want to pull kind of upwards because that was the direction when I was knitting in the round. It was downwards if I was doing it like this. But I like to bring it to the opposite side. I kind of poke it through the purl bump. And
Shaj, I think you need to move up just a little bit. There we go.
thank you. Looking at this. And then I usually go around where it was, and I like to just kind of crisscross. Actually go like this. I like to kind of crisscross one of the legs so that it's not too thick. I find if I do them all on one side, it gets a little thick. But this way you hardly notice it's there.
There's so many good ways to weave in ends. You really can't go wrong.
Exactly. And especially this yarn is so woolly. I feel like it's not very strandy, and so it's gonna stay in. It doesn't pop out like, say, a cotton yarn.
Exactly.
Look, barely see that it's there. And I'll probably go over maybe one more just to be safe. The other side. Oh, it popped out. That's okay. I'll stop for now. But I'll maybe do 1 or 2 legs and then I'll snip it. Make sure it's just kind of, sometimes I stab it to felt it a little bit at the end. Just a little stabbing, little felting, and we can't even see it. But that's what I did. And yeah, I feel like it's not that noticeable when I know some people are concerned about the jogs, but especially once it's on, you really don't see it and it stretches out. Moving on.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to talk about blocking now.
Yeah, let me add a spotlight, switch this around here. So after you've woven in your ends and you're happy with your hat, your finished hat, you can choose to block these hats. You really don't need to if you don't want to, but we do, if you want to, we have some tips. Steaming is a great option for cashmere merino bloom. Yes. Steaming's really great just to kind of help everybody get used to their new shape. You can also do a just traditional wet soak. We have a tutorial for that our moderators are going to put in the chat, where you just soak it in a tub with our sweater soap for about 15-20 minutes and then just let it air dry after that. But if you have a pointier end, and that will help if you have a little pointier top to your hat, But Jaja has some tricks for how to help that if that's something you're working on.
I actually heard about this, but I haven't tried it yet. It was somebody from our previous social media outreach coordinator who you guys might remember, but she mentioned, well, I'll let you do the balloon one, but she mentioned getting a bowl and basically putting it on top of the bowl so that it has a round shape to basically relax on and not because you're going to have 2 layers, so you don't want it to stay wet for as long, and so it'll dry faster that way. And then set a timer for every couple hours and just kind of put it in your hand and you just kind of roll it like this, get those edges out. You put it back in a bowl. Aside from a bowl, I've also heard of a balloon, which you can customize the shape more. I personally wouldn't use a balloon. I have staticky hair myself. It's kind of like wool, so I feel like I don't want it to make the wool staticky, but you could try that as well. And then the third tip is that I've also seen people lay it onto a foam mannequin head, which you can buy at many local craft stores and just kind of let it dry on there. I would still recommend doing a little swivel. It's fun.
Yes.
And it just the fibers relax more gently.
Right, right. And another idea, this maybe the most successful, is you can get a bath towel, hand towel, roll it up, and then into like a log shape, and then you can stretch the hat over the end of the towel log, and that'll help like smooth this out here. I haven't blocked this hat yet, but that's another way to help really encourage that the top of the hat to kind of be more dome shaped than pointy. As well. But either
if anyone's curious, I have not blocked this hat and I feel like it's pretty good.
it's
so
excellent.
If you don't want to block, I think it's fine.
Yeah, you really don't need to block this hat, but sometimes it's nice, especially if you have, you know, different colors or things like that that you want to lay nicely. So but yeah, blocking's a great tool to have in your knitter's toolkit, regardless. But all right, so the fun part. Jaja, Jaja and I were talking.
Question about the earrings, though. So let's sure.
We have a question really in the chat asking to see a close-up of Jaja's earrings.
Yeah, I got them from Macy's. My sister had a wedding recently, and I want something fun, and so I'm gonna find any excuse to wear them all the time.
They're perfect. I love them.
But yes, so, it's pom-pom time.
It's pom-pom time. This pattern doesn't call for a pom-pom, but if you want to, we are not saying no. Pom-poms make everything better. So
I love pom-poms.
I don't
usually do the classic beanie look, but I do like it. But I am usually notoriously a pom-pom girl, so I like to call this to pom-pom or not to pom-pom. So we do have a tutorial. I'm going to add it to the chat because I don't know if the moderators have access to this right away. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. But we have our own. You've probably seen many different kinds of pom-pom kits, pom-pom makers. I've seen people use toilet paper handles. I've seen the clover ones. But you might be familiar with this really unique kind that we have at Purl Soho. So there are 2 big parts to it. There's the U shape and the kind of diameter guide. We have small, medium, large, extra large. I think they're on sale today, actually, the pom-pom maker set.
Yes, they are.
Deanna. And these are really cool, and I'm going to show you how to use them. So the link that I just included in the chat has a guide that's really helpful for about how many rotations we recommend for every weight of yarn and per size. So if you want a small one, a large one, we have about how many times it recommends wrapping it around. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera to document 1 so we can take a look at how this works. So I decided I wanted a pom-pom for this one. It's really fun looking one, and I think I am going to keep this one for myself. So it just seems like very Jacques colors, and I think I'll use the extras for other people. 4 different colors, and I think at the very top we're going to have some fresh pickle to complete the little pattern I have going on. So put it to the side now. The first thing you're going to want is to start unraveling. And you can use any yarn For this, one thing I do want to recommend before I start wrapping is that it's best to use something that is made out of real wool and a really elastic fiber. So I would not recommend something like alpaca or cotton or silk, because those tend to be really limp and you're not going to get a big poof that holds itself together like you would with wool or cashmere. Also, if you don't want to use your cashmere bloom for this, totally understand, fancy yarn, but I happen to have a decent amount left for most of mine. So I don't like to have too many scraps left over. So I like to just keep it around. So this is the large size. The chart, just for the large size for a DK, light worsted weight, recommends 210 revs or approximately 40 yards. I like to eye it, honestly, and just kind of go until it looks nice and dense. So I'm not going to count 200. I'm just going to go quickly and let you see. Let's put this over here so it's like easy to grab. But we're just going to do this from start to finish as quickly as I can. So want to leave some space around here. So I just kind of go back and forth a little bit.
I think you're counting one rotation is all the way around, not just like the front.
That is
back.
a rotation. Keep going.
This is one of those things where sometimes it's just helpful to see from start to finish how it all comes together.
Yeah, especially because I've never seen a U one before, aside from
right,
the ones
right.
that you make. So, but they're really cool. I've tried all kinds of pom pom makers before trying this one, and honestly, I think this is my favorite, just because it's really good to get a uniform when we get to the circular guide, a uniform pom pom, because otherwise, I feel like I'm cutting my husband's hair, and I'm like, I'm just going for it. I don't have a guide. I'm just hoping for the best. But this, I have a guide, and it's nice and even. I got him his own clippers now, so that there's a guide.
Okay, good.
We don't have any patches in weird spots anymore. Okay. Starting to get to a point that I usually like want it like nice and. From start to finish, these usually take me about 12 minutes, in case you're curious. And it is going to get a little messy when I cut off the extra bits. I feel like this is plenty. Okay. For extra bits, I just like to give a little tip. I like to save them and put them in a little Ziploc bag, and you can actually use that as stuffing if you like to make toys or things like that. It's been saving. I've been surprised since I started doing that just how much, just how many leftover scraps I've had, and that I could just use them to fill toys and stuff instead. So I'm gonna put this in the other end to just hold it in place. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. It's okay to have the extra. Now for this next part in our tutorial, we recommend some embroidery floss, just because it's a little stronger than what you might be using. For this example, I'm just going to go ahead and use my cashmere balloon because I have so much extra. But we're going to use this to tie it. You're not going to use this hole. This hole is just to keep the whole set together. There's a little keychain that comes with it. But pretty much you want to go, whoop. You want to go through this space that we left in the end here. You can let that hang off. We're going to come around to the side. And we're just going to make a simple, I believe it's called a surgeon's knot, kind of when you're tying your shoes. Okay, I want to make it tight, but not too tight. I'm going to come around the other end and do it there as well. So I'm going to kind of poke this through. Flip it over. Now this is actually honestly probably a little too thick. I feel like you would, this is why I should have counted. You want it to be able to cinch a little more like a bow tie, but we'll see. This is why I'm doing it live. A little better. I'm going to go over it one more time, just like this. And again, there are other ways to make pom-poms, but This is just how we like to do ours. Okay, let's take it off at this point. You can slide it off. No, I don't think it says this in the tutorial, but I'm gonna go one more time just to make it a little tighter. Come around. Just to really get that
Nice and
center.
secure. Yeah.
The reason I do like to use the same yarn is because I like to leave this so that I can actually weave it in with the same color. It's less noticeable.
Right. And these threads you're working with right now will be the yarns you use to secure the pom-pom to the hat.
Yes.
So it's nice to have
if you happen to cut them, then what I like to do is, just in case, I like to leave the end at the very tippy top, and I can just use this to weave it in instead. All right. So I like to hold on to my ends. It's fun part time. I'm gonna go and cut in the middle. It's gonna start to open up. You want to make sure you get all the little bits. You might have missed a couple. Okay. I like to hold this kind of here, almost like I'm holding my working yarn, so I don't accidentally cut that. But again, if you do, it's not the end of the world. That's why you can just weave it in with some other yarn. The important thing is that this center piece is just nice and tight and dense in the center. Okay, so I'm just going to double check it. Looks like we have a loose, or one that's not cut here. Over here. Let's get them. Also, I'm using these really sharp scissors. It helps to have really sharp scissors. We do carry these online. And I like the boinginess of it, the snap. Also, it's got this safety feature because they are pretty sharp, to just keep them in place so they're not all open at the time. And looks like we have a couple more. All right. So we have a pom-pom, but it doesn't look quite right yet. So now it's haircut time. It's time to finesse. And that is what we have the guide for. Oh, looks like we have. So you can fluff it up a little bit at this point. Now the diameter that you choose is going to be how big your final pom-pom is going to be. So I like this, I believe this is 2.5 inches that I'm going to use for this one. So put it on bottom. Just kind of smush it. Again, I'm keeping the working yarn that I'm going to use kind of like this. And I just push it so that I can see all this excess. We are going to cut this excess. So I have a table right now. I recommend putting something like a bag or something to cover under this, because we're going to get a little messy. But this is what's going to help keep it really uniform. So you don't have to get super close, but the general circle. And we're going to do this twice. So this is my first pass. See, I have a really long one right there. And I just kind of hold it like this so it's not going too crazy. Generally, the closer you get to the center, the fluffier your pom-pom is going to look. So in case it still looks a little scraggly, you might just want to go down in a diameter a bit just to really get it fluffy. I've also seen at the very end, if you want to have it felted, you can get like a dog brush or something, or a comb or brush, and just brush out the fibers, which is really fun too if you really want it to just look poofy. Now you can see I'm kind of, moving it around a little bit, so I have to be careful. That's why we're going to do a second pass after you get it done a little bit. Oh, I use the dental floss to do the tight tie. That's a good idea. If you don't have any embroidery floss around, that's floss. Floss of multiple uses. Okay, so I'm going to shake it out now. You're starting to see how it's looking. So this is why I want that second pass. It looks almost like a pine cone.
Yes.
So move it around a little bit, give it some life, give it some stuff. But yeah, so this is why you see you're gonna want to get it a little closer. So I'm gonna try a slightly different angle. We're gonna go again. You can see how, yeah, it's definitely still not even. So you want to keep going until it's pretty even. Make sure you get that center. We're going for take 2.
This is one of those things that's so satisfying, getting all those little pieces all the same.
Oh yeah,
same length.
my dreams of being a barber. It's or just cutting things. I like an excuse to cut things, you know.
Right.
Color inside the lines. Oh, I have a fan on, so going a little. I'm letting go of this for now, but I don't want to cut it still. Just want to be careful. Almost feels like a poodle.
Yes. Max Fluffy. It's looking great, Shasha.
Thank you, thank you. You can always like tie it up, but I think we're almost there. You can do as many passes as you like. I'm gonna end it soon, I think, though. So let's do another fluff. Okay, we're getting some body. Getting some body.
Very cute.
Yes. So I might do a third pass, but for now, I think that you get the general idea. You kind of keep going. As it gets shorter, it gets a little fluffier too, because we're kind of the friction of the fibers making it kind of fluff up. Might do one last little pass. You guys stay with me just one more time. I want to get this right. Look at this. Is really finesse it.
There you go.
Ooh, and almost cut that.
Having that guide is really nice so we don't keep cutting and cutting and cutting. You know, it's nice to have something to stick to.
That way you don't cut too much. You can always cut. You can cut more. You can't cut less. Wait,
Something like that.
There.
There you go.
He's looking good. I always genderize my things. It's usually a him, like, oh, he's so cute. All right, we're looking pretty. I noticed myself coming here. Okay, let's take a look now. Are we there yet? Are we there? Okay. I feel like that is a more respectable looking pom-pom. So
I like it. Looks great.
yes. From here, I kind of eye it a little bit where I might like just do a little bit that I didn't necessarily get from the circle, but playing with it with your hands is a really good idea. Again, just kind of like to manually fluff it up a little bit. So kind of finesse. Feeling very Christmassy. It looks like it's reminding me of a pine. We've gone from pine cone to pine tree. Okay, I will take a break there. So we've got a lot of extra fluff that'll be filling later. Now we can add it. And this is pretty much like weaving in your regular ends if you already have your tie, which is fun. That makes it really secure because it's not coming off at this point. So I like to get my, if I can find it, there we go. push this through. And I can just kind of find, yeah, I'm just going to come in around the top. Bring this on in. Make sure it's tight. I like to make sure it's not, there's not a loose space, because once you weave it in, it's just, once you cut it, it's difficult to fix. I like put it inside out. And I'm just going to weave in like I normally would. So it's going to come in around here. Again, we want this nice and tight. I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier, where I like to kind of crisscross. Since this is an alternate color, just want to be a little careful, but you shouldn't see it too much at the top. If I'm going fast, I can also just go through both. You don't use both long tail pieces. Oh, I will do that one second. Oh, that's a good point. You could do both at once. I like to just kind of do one in one direction and the other tail in the other, depending on the thickness of the yarn. But I will cut this in later. Well, I'll cut this later, but just to let you see how tight it is like that. No knots, weave in only. You could put a knot if you'd like, but I feel like weaving in, I've never had a pom-pom come off when I do it this way, because it's pretty tight. But yeah, actually, if I was to do this again, that's a good idea to maybe bring them both in, do a knot on the inside, and then weave them in, because no one's going to see that. I'll do that next time. Again, there's no wrong way to do it. Whatever works for you. I'm finding out ideas here. It's like, okay, I can kind of test it to see how it's looking. I don't see a gap, so that's good. And I'm just coming in the other side just to really make sure it's not coming out.
That looks so cute, Jaja. I love it.
Thank you. Well, I'm not gonna have fun weaving this in all. I will do that after the rest. But yeah, so it looks like I went this way. I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. Just want to make sure I see the tip. Just gonna go in the opposite direction.
Getting it nice and secure to the hat, like close to the hat, is really the trick here, because you don't want it kind of flopping off.
Yeah, that flopping's not as cute. It's okay, but we don't want any pom-pom accidents. Yes, thank you, Gianna. Knotting first is a good idea, especially if you're using the embroidery floss. Yes.
Right.
Just because it's usually much thinner than the yarn that you would have been using. And it's going to be a lot stronger though. Because this technically, if I pulled too hard, could tear. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there and take a look. See the whole camera setup. There we go. All right.
Oh, that's so cute.
There's my pom-pom.
I see someone saying in the chat you can use all the yarns, all the colors that were used throughout the hat for the pom-pom.
You can absolutely do
definitely that. Yes.
All you would do is when you're doing your rotations, just mix up the order in which you're doing them. And so long as they're all tied when you do the knot, it'll come out. And that's how you, there's actually, you can see that in the tutorial as well, but that's how you make multicolored pom-poms. Yes, but yes, there we go. We have a pretty strong hat. And if you wanted to, I could go in one more time through the center, not through these little strands, but through there's a little dense center right here that I can pop it in through. But this is not coming off.
No. Very cute.
Thank you.
All right. Well, switching gears now, we do our giveaways throughout our knit along. So it is time to announce our giveaway winners. You can enter these giveaways by signing up for the knit along. You're automatically entered, and then also by submitting an image on Instagram or emailing us a photo or uploading a picture to the website. Oh, amazing, Jaja. So these winners are chosen from there. Oh,
Right.
I see someone saying, I asked my Instagram community if I should add a pom pom or not, and almost everyone said yes. I love
Yes.
it.
See how
Yes.
much more festive this already is? I thought I was pretty
Yes.
festive before. I'm
Um,
actually liking the visible ends is a comment I just saw. I am too. Honestly, I kind of, especially this one that's really colorful. I almost feel like a unicorn. Like braid it maybe.
yeah.
Make it a look.
So fun. Yeah. So if you have any lingering questions, feel free to put them in the chat if we haven't gotten to them yet. We're going to take a look at that. I know that sometimes questions come up near the end of a project, so we're happy to answer any that you might still have out and about.
I see another one actually. When weaving in the yarn ends, is it okay to use the yarn end to stitch on a sleeve? Or should we weave in the yarn and use a different yarn to join the sleeve? Thanks for a great session.
I'm a little confused by this question. I think
Sleeve?
maybe talking about a sweater. I think that if you're weaving in ends, you can use any scrap yarn for any other purposes you have in other projects that you may find it useful, like scrap yarn for provisional cast on, for example. If this is a question about a project that's not the classic ribbed hat, though, we'd love to help you. Feel free to email us at customerservice@purlsoho.com, and we can take a specific look at your question and help you out there. But yeah, I'm not really sure how we can help you best for the classic ribbed hat, but hopefully we can help you over email.
Oh, and for Erica, by when should we get the next email for the prize? We'll follow up with you on the knitalong@purlsoho.com address so you can figure out how you'll get your gift card.
Yep.
It's coming. Okay. Oh, yes, for a sweater. I know.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Definitely email us. We'd be happy to help you out there for sure.
Okay. I'm going to check out the Q&A to see if we missed any. The Linen Quill mini bundle article mentions knitting the ends in rather than weaving. Does this work on other patterns? Also, can I weave in as I go along? I hate weaving in so many ends at the end of a project. Absolutely.
Yes. You can definitely weave in ends.
I haven't taken a look at that technique yet, so I don't know how applicable it is for other projects, but I'm really excited about it. So I recommend taking a look at the new Linen Quill mini bundles for the incredible blanket, I believe it's called. Supposedly, someone says it's made just for you, Ja. That doesn't like to weave in the ends, but there should be a way to do it. But I recommend weaving it in as you go. I didn't do it for this because I wanted to be able to demonstrate them doing the Suma knit. But I enjoy getting it over with sooner than later, so then I just don't have a massive thing at the end.
You can also hold the yarn double. So one yarn would be your working yarn, and one yarn would be the tail that you just left hanging from joining that new color or yarn. And you can just wrap that around your needle for the stitch and then hold that double for the next few stitches. It will slightly, of course, change your gauge just for those few stitches, but it does essentially weave in ends right there. So that is one little trick you can try. But just knitting a few stitches with that first new yarn and then weaving in the end and then continuing on, that's a great way to do it too. So
on one site, I read that in order to not interfere with the stretchiness of the 1x1 rib, that it's better to use the vertical techniques that you demonstrated. But I agree. I found that usually I like to go with the purl bumps, but I think it's less noticeable on the opposite side, because sometimes you'll see a long strand if you just do it horizontally. So I think going into the V stitches is good for a 1x1 rib.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So much fun knitting with everyone for this call. Love seeing faces to names here on Zoom. Thank you for hosting. Oh, yes. Probably talking to us over email. That's me. Okay. Well, yeah, we don't have as many questions. We kind of figured it might not be as many since we covered so much the last time, but that means I think we can move on to show and tell.
Yes, I mean, if you have any lingering questions we didn't get to on the Zoom Minute, you can always email us knitalong@purlsoho.com and customerservice@purlsoho.com. Oh, and I see a question. Will this video be available later? Yes, it will. We'll post the recording on our YouTube channel. It normally takes about a week for us to get that posted. So yeah, you'll be able to catch this again. And all of our previous Zoom Minutes as well. There's some great tips in there. But
And
yeah,
just because this knit along is over doesn't mean that we'll stop offering support. We always offer it.
yes.
24/7. Not 24/7, but we are here every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. You can catch us over email at customer service, thank you, Gianna, at purlsoho.com or knitalong@purlsoho.com. We monitor both inboxes, and that's the fastest way to get in touch with us.
Yes, but in the meantime, before we say goodbye for real, we want to see all of your hats. If you want to show us your hat, we would love to see. You can raise your hand in Zoom, and our moderators will put instructions in the chat for how to do that if you're new to Zoom. And then we can bring you up here and say hi and see your hat and talk about what colors you use and all the good stuff.
Yes, and even if you just use ooh, I see some colorful stuff there. Let's bring them on up. I'm gonna go ahead and start adding people. Oh, thank you, Margaret.
Yeah, there we go. Hi. You might have to unmute.
Hello.
Hello. I love your hat. The pom-pom's so fun.
Oh, that pom-pom is
fantastic.
I did not make that. That's a purchased faux fur.
Oh, okay.
And it snaps on and off. So when I wash it, I just unsnap it and wash the hat.
Wow,
That's
how
really
clever.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You can buy them on Amazon.
Great.
Also, I've done that before too, where it's
Yeah.
just like,
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it looks like such a great hat. Thank you so much for showing us.
I
You're
love
welcome.
it. Is it for you or somebody else?
It's for me.
Yeah.
We love it.
I made some for other people too, but they didn't get a pom-pom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went fancy for mine.
Oh, it turned out beautifully. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
showing us and knitting along with us.
Thank you.
All right,
We have Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. Ooh, we have another really fun color.
There we go.
Me? Okay.
Hi, yes, hello.
Hi. Hi, I'm going through a journey of using scraps. So I had two skeins that I did not like separate, but once I put them together, it made this amazing yellow, but also with bunch of little colors. And
so
I did
fun.
a 3-fold brim for extra warmth around the ears.
Wow.
I also made same version for a child, and then with different scraps, I made this one, but this one's huge.
Oh.
Aw.
I used the same needle, but I didn't swatch. I thought, oh, it's gonna be fine. It's been suggested to me to give it away for Christmas to people in the family with bigger heads, but I'm not doing that. I like it.
I was gonna say it's got like just the casual, very chic.
Yes.
It looks like it was on purpose.
Yeah.
Well,
They
thank
both
you for
turned-
letting me share.
Oh, thank you so much for showing us your hats. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Who's next, Jaja?
Up we have Amy. Hi, Amy.
Oh,
yeah, that's me to mute. Sorry about that.
there we go. Oh, I think you muted again. Oh no. Let's try that now.
Here, I see the mouth moving, but
Unmute.
There we go.
Hey.
Okay, we can hear you. Hello.
I wanted to brag about your yarn. So
Bring it on.
I made my granddaughter a hat, and I don't know if you can see the colors, but so I used these two colors, but I made the toddler for her, and when I put it on her head, it seemed too tight. So then I made the same thing in young adult, but I should have waited because the toddler worked perfect. So now she's got a hat for when she gets older. But then I still had yarn left over, so I tried making mittens from your other thing with the same balls of yarn. So, I mean, it was amazing how much I got out of it. Did something wrong with the mittens though, because these are supposedly the toddler ones and they fit me.
are those lilies? Is that the lily pattern?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
roads hat and
I
mittens.
think
Yeah.
it was
So-
more of a sport weight, I feel like, and like in actuality, and this one's a whole size bigger. That's probably why.
But it was exciting. So it was things I had never done before in the pattern.
Right.
And then I made one, and this is where I'm going to say that, yeah, you should definitely gauge, because I made a hat. My brother saw the one with the ear muffs that you have, what's it, the basic hats?
Yeah.
that-
yeah.
And he saw one I did for my granddaughter, and he goes, well, I want an Elmer Fudd hat. So I made it out of scrap yarn, and it's made for a giant.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. That looks wonderful.
But it's
Wow.
so big. So yeah, so gauging is important, I found out.
Yes. Wow.
But thank you. I did get an awful lot out of the 2 balls of yarn.
Yeah, looks
really
like
glad.
it. That's awesome.
Thank
Aw, thank you so much for knitting along with us.
Mhm. This was fun to see all the different projects.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
next up we have Paula. Asked to unmute.
There we go. Hello.
Hello. So I have 2 actually, I realize. This is the
Ooh.
one that's done. So actually love going through the photos and seeing all the other people who did this color combination too, because it's a lovely color combination.
Yes,
And I
it
love
is.
this. I love this yarn so much. I just was like, can you have a crush on yarn? Because this is, I don't know, it's so delightful to knit with. Like I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm making more than one of these things.
That's what
Um,
happened to me.
So yeah. So the fun thing is that I did this. This is a yarn that I made, or hat I knit almost entirely while charging up during sessions where I was charging up my EV, my electric vehicle, because it's like a great thing. But if you don't have a charger at home, you have to go sit somewhere for half an hour or so. And I'm like, oh, look, I know what I can do. So it's like, hey, I volunteer to be the person to charge up the car.
That's awesome.
So
I
there's
love
this one,
it.
and then yeah. And so then I'm using the red in with the pink
That's
to
so
do
pretty.
this
Wow.
next one, and then I'm going to take the pink and the gray since I got 3 balls of yarn. So
Okay.
and
So
I'll do the
just to be
pink and a
sure,
gray
is that
one.
the red poppy and the charcoal onyx? And
Uh,
then that one?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Sorry,
And
the
then the other
onyx, and then
is
it's this red, so it's the
Yeah.
poppy plus the whatever the pink is in the
the
cashmerino.
rosebud pink, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's multiple pinks, but it's the lighter one. Yeah.
Okay. No,
I
that was
love that
beautiful. I love
combination. That's
So
so
yeah,
pretty.
I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
it's Barbie core. It's a Barbie
Yes.
core winter. So anyway, I also want to say you all are just lovely. It's so lovely. Just the warmth that you all have in this video and how lovely you
Yeah.
all are when you're giving advice, and just answering questions that people have on the patterns. It just all comes through. And so it's lovely to see your faces and to be able to say thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
That
That
really
is
means a
so
lot.
kind. Thank you so much. Aw.
Fun to see everyone else's faces too, because
Yeah.
I'm just seeing names all day, and so this is just a really nice time to like get to
Yeah. Really
at least
celebrate the
virtually
community.
get together with the community and people we're talking with.
Well, happy knitting and charging. Thank you for
Yes.
showing us your
Thank you. Looks like we have one more. Adding spotlight for Karen.
There we go.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
I've tried Purl Soho knit-alongs and never finished. So this one I finished.
Yay.
I'm so
Congrats.
excited. I usually use very bulky single ply yarn. So
Mhm.
this yarn was such a treat to work with.
Oh.
It's so springy and soft, and I don't think it's going to pill like the other ones do. But anyway, here's mine. Whoops, wait a minute.
Look at
I did-
that.
I made up my own stripes. Maybe if I turn my background off,
Yeah, I think it's
get better. Hold on.
oh what I really want to know what colors those are. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Let me turn that off. Let's see. Where do I do that?
You might have to go to
Oh, I know. I have to switch to put it to
the
none.
video. There should
Okay.
be an
There
there
you
you go.
There you go. So
Oh, look at that.
I wanted a really classy hat for a guy. He asked me to knit him a hat. He says, I'm going to have you knit all my hats. And that was 3 years ago.
Aw.
So I finally knitted him a hat. But I think it's kind of funny because it has this little bullseye up on the top.
Yeah.
And
That
I'm
looks
not going to put a pom-pom on it for him. But
No, I
had
think
so
it's
much
more
fun.
fun that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
wanted
love
a really classy stripe knit, and I thought and thought and thought. I was going to just do 3 colors, the color
Mhm.
blocking, and I thought no, stripes are nice. So I have the charcoal gray
Mhm.
and the off white, and then this is fig in here.
Oh.
Oh, that's what I have
color.
right here. That's so interesting how
Yeah,
next to certain colors they'll look so different.
yeah,
Right.
it almost looks like it's red, but it's the purpley wine color. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love it.
Oh. Awesome.
Oh, that's
Anyway.
a great fit.
Yeah.
I have another one on my needles, and I'm gonna
Oh.
play with stripes again. So I'll probably post it to Instagram. You guys have
Please
fun. 'cause
do.
It's
Yeah.
so fun just coming up with alternate stripes, and I love this program that you guys did where I got
Aw.
to join in on the Zoom. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
So-
Your hat
And
turned
you
out
guys
so well.
You guys are local, so I'm gonna have to come visit you. Don't you have
We're
a shop
actually
in?
pretty remote. So we're all over the place.
Oh,
so.
you work remote? Oh, okay.
We're
All
always
right.
available at purlsoho.com anytime. So,
All right.
all right.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, I
All
think
right.
that's everyone. So it's time to wrap up.
Yeah, that's another knit along. It's been so fun to knit with all of you, to see your hats, to share in the joys of this yarn, this project, and gifting and making tiny baby hats and big hats and sometimes huge hats.
Yep.
It's been so much fun and we've really loved it. So thank you all for joining us for this knit along.
Mhm.
Jaja, you want to tell everybody one more time where they can find this recording?
Yes, so we will be uploading it to YouTube once it gets, we like to make sure we edit it, put the bells and whistles, make sure the logo is all up on there. We try to get them up within a week or so. So if you're not already subscribed, we recommend subscribing to our channel on YouTube, and then you'll get an alert as soon as it goes up.
Yeah, and I think Paula might have mentioned wanting to see everyone else's hats, really enjoying seeing the community. So if you wanted to see some more hats that were knit as part of this knit along, you can browse those on hashtag Purl Soho KAL on Instagram. And just enjoy. You can also go to our landing page for this knit along and see all the other hats that people have knit there in the gallery. But yeah, I think that about does it. Anything else you want to add, Jaja?
Well, I do see some people asking about the next knit along. Usually we announce what the next one is, but we are going to take a little break for now. So, but we do have some really cool things planned. So we recommend just taking a little break, keep an eye out on your newsletter so you can see some things we have brewing for the winter.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
But we still have fun stuff planned. So
Yes.
don't worry about it. We'll see you again. Who knows? If
Yeah.
you're not subscribe. You'll find out when you'll see us again.
All righty. Well, take care, everybody. Happy holidays. Enjoy your hats. And thank you again for joining us.
Yes.
We'll see
thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.